Hello Internet, welcome back to my channel. I did unfortunately notice that some of you logging on to watch this video haven't subscribed to my channel yet. What are you doing? You need to subscribe. Just do it. It's not that hard. In the words of one of my favorite YouTubers, Davey504, slap like now and subscribe. And we're gonna wait here until you do it. Have you done it yet? Are you thinking about it? Don't think, just do it. Succumb to peer pressure. Listen to your thoughts. You want to know when the new content is coming. You want to know. Ring the bell, for God's sakes. I've snapped out of it. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, and now on with the review. So guys, there's a lot of 2021 releases that I'm trying to get around to watching, and I realized that in doing these videos, I hadn't talked about one of my favorite movies I've watched this year yet, which is Shiva Baby. Shiva Baby is directed by Emma Seligman and stars Rachel Sennott as Danielle. So we're introduced to Danielle's character, and she's with this guy in his apartment. They just got done having sex, and he pays her for their encounter after they have this long, drawn-out conversation. And she leaves to go home, and when she gets to her house, she realizes that there's a Shiva for one of their family members, which is like an after-funeral service where everyone gets together, has food, shares family experiences. And the film all really takes place inside of this one house, and all of it is about character interactions, performances, the dialogue, and it is just like one of the most anxiety-inducing experiences seen all year long. So there's this concept in filmmaking called a bottle movie, and what a bottle movie is, or like a bottle TV episode. For instance, like the one everybody thinks about is the Breaking Bad episode where Jesse and Walt are in the basement and they're dealing with the fly the whole episode. That's a bottle episode of television. When you're talking about that, it's all of these characters in one specific space and what occurs in that time frame in that specific space. So obviously when we're introduced to Danielle's character, we're in another environment. But in Shiva Baby, once we get into this house and we're introduced to all the family members and the surrounding circumstances thereof, it's just what takes place between these characters, and it's all about the performances, and the performances in this film are just absolutely incredible. I had never seen Rachel Sennott in anything else before, and she just gives a fucking phenomenal performance. Every bit of dialogue, the way that she delivers her lines, just how uncomfortable she is in certain situations, her body language, the way that she tries to like get out of having specific conversations, it's just so uncomfortable. A lot of people in reviews comparing it to Uncut Gems, and I think there's some validity in that. There is similarities to Uncut Gems in that the anxiety you build for this character because you do care for this character just gets out of control because she keeps getting put into these super uncomfortable situations. She's really not doing a lot with her life currently as far as like pursuing school in the way that her family wants to, where they want her to go to law school. She's doing this thing where she's, you know, got a sugar daddy and she's making money in her own way and living her life the way that she wants to. And there's a lot of commentary on doing your own thing and being held to specific standards by your family and just the repercussions of that. And then you have this additional layer of Danielle's character is bisexual, and so you get introduced to a former romantic interest, and she comes into the picture, and the dynamic between those two characters and how it's sort of taboo in this family, I guess, for there to be any sort of homosexual relationship. And so you have that additional layer added on, and then the dynamic between those two characters, which I think is fantastically written and really well done. Yeah, the movie is just an anxiety-ridden nightmare. Fred Melamed and Polly Draper that play the parents give phenomenal performances, but it's just, the best part of it is the way that her parents interact with her and just continuously make her uncomfortable, to where first gets in there, things are seemingly normal. The school stuff is really what's uncomfortable. Then you're introduced to that former love interest. Well, then the sugar daddy shows up with his wife and his newborn child. And so you have all of these layers being unraveled slowly, and the pacing is really what makes the movie work so well, because you're slowly being introduced to these things, but the anxiety of the previous situation that was introduced to you is building inside of you while you're watching it. And you're just like, God, get out of this situation. Go to another room, go do something else. But as soon as Danielle's character moves from one space to the next, a new anxiety-inducing situation is introduced to you as an audience member, and it makes it even more unsettling. And that's what I really liked about this, is you can tell that Emma as a director really knew how to pace this and how to block these scenes really well, so that it's really relentless. You as an audience member don't get a lot of time to breathe in between these situations, and that's what I really like. I myself have been put in a lot of really uncomfortable situations with family members in my life. I grew up in a very conservative household with a minister as a father. I am not conservative by any means. I have very liberal viewpoints on the world. I have very extreme opinions on things. And sometimes you get put in situations with people that you just don't mess with. Having certain things revealed about your personality in particular, or just like political commentary or anything, and just how you navigate your way through those situations in an environment like after a funeral, where people are supposed to be mourning the loss of someone that they love, but instead are like having this trivial conversation where they're like, you should live your life this way, you should do that. And it's like, at the end of the day, Danielle's life is Danielle's life. She should be able to do the things that make her happy. And what I really liked about this movie, there's a real human element to it, and it feels like real life. Compared to Uncut Gems, which obviously, you know, has this really like overblown plot, very specific situations with these characters who have specific career professions, that feels overblown. But because of Sandler's performance and how incredible the Safdie brothers are as directors, the anxiety is built from drawing you into these characters and blowing up the situation. Whereas Shiva Baby is really done with incredible performances, and the way these people are so believable as a familial unit, and how all of this feels like real life. It doesn't feel like overblown Hollywood drama. It feels like something that could happen to anyone. And that's why I think it resonated so much with me. And by the third act, it was just so impactful, and it just felt realistic. And I hope more people get around to watching this, because I think it's really well made. Sound design is another really important part. There's a lot of really like important sound cues and musical cues that are kind of just like unsettling, that make you feel this uncomfortable ease. There's moments where it feels like a horror movie, which is hilarious because there's nothing like horror-ish about it. It's just like the horror of these experiences, talking to these people and confronting things in your life that you may not have wanted family members to know about. And that's really makes this movie so great. And I thought the sound design was great. The cinematography is really nice, especially being a bottle film, being in one place. The camera moves in ways that makes it feel claustrophobic, but also like gives you enough space in the house to move around, to get away from these moments for minimal periods of time, even if they are just small periods of time. Yeah, the filmmaking is really well done, but I think the biggest part of this movie is the performances, and without these incredible performances, the film would not work as well as it does. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Shiva Baby. I thought it was a really well made, incredibly well acted film. It's only 78 minutes. It's a really short runtime, but it's refreshing to see films like this with just such strong performances, that it's not reliant on these, you know, grandiose settings or really intense plot lines. It's a simple story looking at a human being who is being judged very heavily by her family, having her life drawn out for her, where she just wants to make her own decisions and do what's best for her own life. And there's a lot to be said in that. And I think that it's important for all people in the world to, you know, understand that your life is yours, and you should be able to do what you want with it, to be able to pursue what makes you happy, love who you want to love, do the things that make you you. Because at the end of the day, if you let someone else make all the decisions for you and create, you know, your life and make that path for you, then you're not really living, because you haven't done anything for yourself. You're just letting other people make your decisions for you, and that's miserable. That's not really being alive. So that's what I liked about this movie. It was really refreshing to me. Made me feel good by the time it was over, which is weird to say because of how anxiety-inducing most of the movie is, but getting through that anxiety to the third act, which I think has a really important and beautiful message at the end. And I think more people should definitely watch this. So have you seen Shiva Baby yet? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. I think this will be in my top 3 of the year more than likely. It was fantastic. Great performances. This is a movie that just really speaks to me. If you could subscribe to the channel and like the video, it really helps me out a lot. It lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I've got a lot of new content coming in the future. I've been releasing videos pretty much every day since October. I've had a blast with this and it's just been a great time. As always, thanks so much for watching, Internet, and have a great rest of your day.